Today's show is sponsored in part by Fulton Commons. We have had a co-working space there for a while. It's over in Manchester in this historic little neighborhood, and it's really thoughtfully decorated, like actual art on the walls, bright pops of color, these historic maps and eclectic furniture, and just so much gorgeous natural light. It really is a great place to be able to buckle down and get some work done, but also just like the experience while you're there. And all of this, of course, is just on the main floor because downstairs is something totally different. It's a shared commercial kitchen, so fully stocked with equipment and appliances, storage, big fridges, prep areas. If you are just starting out in the food space and you've maybe outgrown your house but don't have it in you yet to go get an expensive lease on your own, this could be the perfect place for you to hone your craft and get to know other entrepreneurs. Also, if you are co-working upstairs, it can mean delicious samples. Check out Fulton Commons for yourself, for your small business, and for your food production needs. Visit fultonpgh.com to request a tour. CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Heinz History Center and their newest exhibition, Pittsburgh's Hidden History. It is a cornucopia of curiosity, a magical menagerie of memory, and a little bit of this and that. There are flowery couches, relics from Kennywood, even a collection of shivs. If you listen to this show a lot, you know we are loving this. It is truly mind-boggling to see how the curators brought together such a wide range of rarely seen artifacts to tell Pittsburgh stories like never before. To buy your tickets and learn more, visit HeinzHistoryCenter.org. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away, and if your crew has not made dinner plans yet, there's really no reason to stress. Pittsburgh restaurants have got you covered this year. Whether you need to feed an army or you just want a fancy dish or two to show off at your Friendsgiving. Today, I'm with newsletter editor Francesca DeBecco to talk about some of the best Thanksgiving catering menus in town and what you need to know to order. And stick around after this episode. We have a segment sponsored by Family House about the work that they do providing a home away from home for the families who travel here for medical care. It's Wednesday, November 12th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Francesca, hello.
Hi.
It is almost Thanksgiving. Do you have plans or like a signature dish that you always bring?
Yeah, so I'll go over my parents, and I'm typically the one who brings like the veggie side. I switch it up. Sometimes it's a Brussels sprout salad or green beans or something. But I I'm really there for the sides. I am a vegetarian, but like you can fill up on the sides. You don't need turkey for Thanksgiving, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I like the nostalgia and the tradition of the meat, but I feel like a lot of turkeys don't turn out that great. So like you end up with like a dry bird, although the dry bird sandwiches are also like a big part of the like classic tradition in my family. Like that's kind of part of it. My family has definitely shrunk in recent years. I feel like we're making the switch from like entirely homemade, big family gathering to slowly but surely being like almost entirely catered with like one or two homemade dishes that get peppered in.
You know, that's better because you're not fussing in the kitchen all day long.
It truly does save the matriarchs a lot of trouble because let's be real, it's always the women doing this work.
Speaking of matriarchs, my Thanksgiving isn't complete without, we do make homemade pumpkin pie, and it's my great-grandma's recipe. But it's funny because in order to make the recipe, it's like for 3 pies. So like we never like figured out the math. So we always like make one for ourselves and then like give them away to some folks or have leftovers. But that's like the tradition that just means a lot to have that like carried on.
That's funny. Mine is definitely deviled eggs. Like for whatever reason, that is the one that has stood the test of time. It is not a family gathering without deviled eggs.
So important.
We're going to talk about so many great options here in Pittsburgh and all kinds of sizes, like whether you need to feed a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people, or just like need 1 or 2 really great treats, some dishes that you want to take to a Friendsgiving or a bigger gathering, like that 1 or 2 things that you want to pepper in, or some options if you just just want a feast for one or for two. So we're going to start with a full Thanksgiving dinner. Francesca, what are some of your favorites?
Well, Mediterra always shows up with a great menu every year. You can get a whole turkey from them or a turkey breast, but they've got great sides like heirloom squash soup, a sweet and spicy Brussels sprouts. I might steal that for this year. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, all of those like classics.
Yeah, I'm glad you started with them because I was in Mediterra this morning as we were recording, and the folks at the counter were raving about the stuffing and the mac and cheese, and like also, of course, you can always add on from their pastry cart. They have like big platters of them, or you can just add things that they have in store to whatever you want later.
Yeah, of course they're going to do the bread right. You know, they're known for that. And so you can, get the cakes or the cinnamon rolls. And they have different sizes of meat and like cheese and veggie platters too. So if you just need something to like munch on before the dinner, if you're bringing the appetizers, this is a great option.
Definitely. We've got a couple, I feel like they recur every year just because their food is so delicious. Like Be Sure to Go in East Allegheny. I have always loved them for their like lunchtime options. I've had their regular catering menu too. But I think it's really exciting to consider them for a holiday meal because they're very heavy on like the cozy foods. Like they just do that so well. It feels like a perfect option for the winter holidays. And then Sprezzatura, am I saying that right, over in East Liberty?
Yeah, they moved semi-recently to East Liberty, and they've got, great takeout things. They've got turkey breast, veggie lasagna for your vegetarian friends, so something for everyone there. And then Pane Pronto, I think that this is a great no-fuss option. They have heat and serve meals, and you can order them for 2 people or 4 people. So if it's just like you and your better half, this is an awesome option. And they do turkey or porchetta, so another different option, besides the classic turkey.
Totally. I think we should also shout out one that's, I think, a little less conventional because it's not like a classic restaurant, right? But Community Kitchen Pittsburgh over in Hazelwood, first of all, just does amazing work in Pittsburgh, but their food is also delicious. I've had it a couple of times now.
Yeah, and definitely watch their website and their social media. They always have really cool pop-up dinners, but if you want to try it this way first with the classic Thanksgiving meals, they've got turkey gravy, stuffing, mashed potatoes, all of the good stuff. And they also have an option for a meal for 10. So if you're serving a crowd, this might be for you.
Yeah, and in case you're not familiar with them, they're just like I said, such a cool organization. It's all culinary students, so they do like training programs, transitional employment, apprenticeships, but all the job placement and training is at no cost to students, which is really cool opportunity. Like if you're switching careers or you want to try to find your footing in a way where you're not just like starting from scratch. This is amazing because they try to help people land in like a higher than entry level position. They also do food rescues. They feed kids in the summer. They just do great work. Yeah,
great to support, and what a good time to do it. And, we're really mindful right now about all of our neighbors who need food assistance. There's a free option. Holidays Meals Pittsburgh always does drop off, so you can fill out a form. It gets delivered right to your door. It's a classic Thanksgiving dinner, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, pie, the whole 9 yards. And they do a Christmas option too. So if you're looking, toward the rest of the holiday season and you need a little support or someone, this is a good option.
And the city's also providing some stuff. They're doing free holiday meals to folks. You do have to register for that one. So the email is thanksgivingmeals@pittsburghpa.gov. That's just another one to keep on your radar. If you're listening to this and you're like, I need to see this on paper, I need to see it in front of my face, I cannot recommend enough our newsletter. We've got a whole bunch in there, plus on our website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm, including all of the order deadlines and the pickup information. There's a lot to check out there, including their full menus. CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Pittsburgh Opera and their first ever performances of Fellow Travelers. The opera takes place during the 1950s, the McCarthy era, and a young college graduate shows up to DC, eager to join the State Department. But this is also during the Lavender Scare, and our main character falls in love with another man. Fellow Travelers is based on the book by Thomas Mallon, and the opera is quickly becoming a contemporary classic. You can catch Fellow Travelers at the Byham Theater for one weekend only. There are only 3 performances from November 14th through the 16th. The tickets start at just $20, and there are a whole bunch of discounts. So for kids, for students, for seniors, for military, and even just for big groups, this is such an important story, especially at this moment. So grab your friends and head downtown for Fellow Travelers. Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/citycast. Today's show is brought to you by City Theater. Confession, I have never read Little Women. I know it's a classic. I have heard all about the March sisters, Jo and Beth and Meg and Amy. The one literally has my name. And of course, their creator, author Louisa May Alcott. I really meant to do it. It just never happened. But now, maybe my actual introduction to the story will get to be a little more local, more Pittsburgh, because City Theater has co-commissioned and produced its own version that they say blends the heartwarming coming-of-age story you love, the empowerment, the family bonds, the resilience, but also the very creation of the literary masterpiece itself, with Alcott at the center of it. It's a new adaptation of a beloved classic and a world premiere, all from playwright Lauren Gunderson, who brought us The Revolutionists and the Christmas at Pemberley series that y'all have been raving about to me for a few years now. City Theater says it's perfect for the holidays, a total celebration of sisterhood and aspiration. So grab your loved ones and look for performances November 15th through December 7th. Learn more at citytheatercompany.org.
You know, when most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
So that was whole meals, but a ton of those places, of course, offer individual dishes and add-ons. That's usually my move, is to like just order like one dish here or there that like I know I don't have the patience or the bandwidth right now or the funds to make for myself. Truly, honestly.
If you don't have 2 ovens.
I do. So I this weird house that I like, it has 2 ovens, but one of them is definitely on the fritz and I'm afraid of it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Definitely make it easier on yourself. And these are great things to like travel with too. So like casseroles, the stuffing, or baked goods. I highly recommend using, fridge bags to do both like hot or cold items. And if you're putting things in boxes, I cannot say enough to put like a towel below it to catch possible drippage. Because I've had a couple of messes in the past, and you want to avoid that. It also helps things from like sliding around. So just like a couple of tips, helpful tips if you're taking some things to other people's houses.
Yes, I feel like you've really made it, and like the family or friend echelon when you realize how to properly pack a to-go dish into a vehicle of any kind, like whether you're driving or not. Like if it can arrive safely, then I think that's like another another level, like notch in adulthood, right?
Yes. And thankfully, baked goods are a really great thing to transport. And
Yes.
this might be my favorite, talking about these every year because I am just inspired by the creativity. So something new to me this year, Bethel Bakery is making a pumpkin pie cakein, they're calling it.
Is this like a turducken situation?
Yes, a dessert turducken. So it's like a 9-inch pumpkin pie, and then it's separated by a layer of French buttercream, and then it's a spice battered cake above that, and then it's topped with a thin layer of apple butter, and whipped topping with like a sprinkles of streusel.
How tall is this thing?
Wait, I'll send you a picture here. Hold on.
Okay, this kind of like, it looks a little like a Boston cream pie, at least in like the layer situation.
Yeah.
But it's also like about that height.
Yeah. It's fluffy. It looks decadent. Best of both
Different
worlds.
color palette.
Yeah, best of both worlds. If you love cake and pie, you don't have to choose. So we love that. Another one new to us this year, Bitter Ends. They have a couple of really tasty options. Of course, like classic dinner rolls, but for sweets, they have apple crumble pie, a pumpkin spice pie, and a Toll House pie, which is basically like an ooey
This is
gooey,
a chocolate chip cookie in a pie form,
yeah,
right?
like a chocolate chip cookie set into like a buttered pie crust. So like if you're more of a cookie fan than a pie fan, this could be delicious.
Y'all, I cannot recommend enough, if you're hearing this, Google Bitter Ends Pittsburgh just to see the photos of this pie. Like whether you're going to order it or not, like look at it, because these are not great cell phone photos of these pies, and it's still one of the most delicious looking things ever. No one staged this.
Yeah.
They just took a picture with their phone, and I still want to eat every single one of them.
Yeah, we'll have a link in the article at the website.
God, look at the flake on that. That looks so good.
Decadent.
Well, speaking of pie, one that you're going to have to order pretty quickly if you're interested is Pie Bird over in Lawrenceville. I think they've got one of the earliest deadlines. We saw tons of great options. Also, 5 Points Artisan Bake Shop in Squirrel Hill. One thing I love about their order situation is that they actually tell you how much of something is left. So if you are considering any of these options and you're like, I want to order this, I'm not actually sure if they still have it, or you're worried about like something getting sold out, they have you covered with that. So a pro tip for like the tech space of running a restaurant, that's always important.
That's so helpful.
And then Third Space Bakery over in Garfield. They always have the most creative menus anyway, but they also were doing something this year. There's an option to donate a pie to a neighbor. So they're working with 412 Food Rescue to deliver some of their most delicious offerings to neighbors in need this season.
Yeah, we're such big fans of Third Space. 2 new things I noticed on their menu this year, just to shout out, is the cheddar sage apple pie. So a little bit of a savory sweet thing. And then their cake is a vegan maple gingerbread cake. So if you've got dietary restrictions as part of your group, that sounds amazing and something really fun to switch up from the classic pumpkin pie.
Yeah, there's a gluten-free cranberry orange almond cake, also worth just Googling around to see the image of that. Oh my God, it looks so good.
Yeah. And then, while you're over in that area, if you just can't resist, Jack's Bakery does really cool baked goods. It's a Bulgarian pastry bakery shop. They've got both sweet and savory options. You could get like a cheesy bread with feta, or they have a cake with walnuts soaked in syrup. And then it's kind of like a baklava in cake form, which like sounds amazing. So that's another great one on the East End.
Yeah, and then another one that's new to us this year, Wake and Cake. So they're doing 4 types of pie, pecan, pumpkin s'mores, and chocolate ganache pecan. Talk about decadent. But they offer pay what you want, even truly if it's free. So if you mention that you are affected by the pause on SNAP, they try to help with your needs, not just pies, but other stuff too. They're one that you need to DM on Instagram if that's something that you're interested in. But just like, again, like always floored at people's like hearts in this season of need. Like it's always true in Pittsburgh around the holidays, but like especially this year.
Yeah, a lot of generosity. And reminder, if you do need food help or you're trying to help your neighbors, we have a whole episode and article on the website with a bunch of resources. So making sure everyone is fed and happy and, taken care of this time of year.
Definitely. And we don't want to let down our vegetarian and vegan friends. There are so many good options here in Pittsburgh for that. A lot of the places we've mentioned have vegan or vegetarian like dishes and individual treats. So check their websites, but there are a handful of places that also just like everything they do is with this in mind. So we wanted to shout them out too.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm the resident vegetarian. I will always celebrate these folks giving these options. A couple to shout out, Veggies and That. They're based in Manchester. They do single serving platters. So you could just get your own meal, something really no fuss, low stakes. And then Moods Co. on the South Side, they have a bunch of like vegan type like fake meat options like fried oyster mushroom wings. Sounds delicious. And then mac and cheese, of course, will not include cheese, but I know these people get so creative to make it taste something of the sort. I know nothing can replace cheese, but
I don't know. I think mac and cheese is one of the most forgiving things you can have. Like cashew cheese is delicious. Like just don't expect it to taste like Velveeta and you're fine. It's still amazing.
Yeah. It's still an amazing macaroni dish. And then they've got like stuffing with plant-based sausage. So if you haven't always been a vegetarian and you're craving those, comfort meals, this might be a really good option. And then Allegro Bakery in Squirrel Hill always has incredible vegan stuff on their menu, especially their baked goods. They've got a chocolate cherry sourdough and a yam pecan sourdough. I love a twist on like the regular dinner rolls with your meal.
Yeah. And then Zenith on the South Side, they're doing something a little different. They usually do their no turkey vegan holiday rescue kit. Last we checked their social, it looks like they're still working on their menu, but they are going to be open on Thanksgiving from 3 to 6 p.m. And someone asked, like, are you still going to be doing takeout? And they said yes. So just keep in mind, Zenith, like just such an amazing and quirky place to go have a meal. So that could be fun if you don't have like some other big family thing that you are required to attend. This could be a fantastic and extremely local option.
Yes. And if you are listening to this and you missed something and you're like, wait, what was that? That sounded amazing. Don't worry. We have it all written out in an article on the website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm. There are options all over the city. So no matter what corner of the burg you are in, you'll find something tasty for the holiday.
Yes, and don't go anywhere because in just a second, we have a segment sponsored by Family House. Executive producer Mallory Falk is talking to their director of development about how they support families who come to Pittsburgh for medical care.
Hey, executive producer Mallory Falk here. I am so thrilled to be talking today about Family House. This organization has really been a lifeline for families who come here to Pittsburgh for medical care. It provides them with an affordable, welcoming place to stay when they need it most. And with their Day of Giving coming up on December 2nd, I am talking with Director of Development Sarah Serace about how your support helps families feel cared for and at home in the middle of a medical crisis. Sarah, thanks so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So for anybody who isn't already familiar with Family House, can you explain exactly what you do and what kind of difference this makes for families who come to our city for medical care?
Yeah, so we are considered healthcare hospitality. Really, all that means is we kind of function like a hotel. We kind of function in our old days like a bed and breakfast, but we aren't operating like a hotel. We're just in the shell of an old one. We are in the former Courtyard Marriott in Shadyside, but for families who come to Pittsburgh for medical care, we offer lodging, so rooms at various sizes, a healthy breakfast every day in our daily healthy breakfast program. Our rates are lower than hotels. We don't have the hotel tax. We also offer something called family assistance that brings the cost down a little bit more for families as well, depending on what their cost of living is, their, socioeconomic status. And then we have a social worker on staff who also does programming. We have therapy dogs. We have volunteers make dinners. So it really is meant to be a welcoming, comforting space when you're potentially having, a big crisis in your family.
It's a lot more than just a place to kind of drop your belongings in between going to the hospital.
Absolutely.
And I know you're asking people to give and support Family House on December 2nd for your Day of Giving. Tell us a little bit about, what that support looks like in action. Like, what does a donation actually do for a family that is staying with you?
Yeah, so this year we're putting an emphasis on our daily healthy breakfast program, but, all donations are always welcome. Unrestricted is always, really helpful because then we can, adjust some of the things behind the scenes and support families and the infrastructure of Family House. But our daily healthy breakfast program, as you can imagine, in the current times, is pretty expensive to run right now. But we believe that having a healthy breakfast every day gives the caregivers or patients, we have both who stay with us, what they need to get a strong start to their day. And it provides community. So we have the food laid out on a buffet and families come and they sit in the communal dining room. A lot of guests will meet people from other places that are going through a similar journey. So not only are we providing sustenance, but we're also giving them opportunity to connect and find support and just feel like they aren't alone at this very scary time in their lives.
What have you heard from people about what having this program as part of their stay means to them?
When you're in a situation like that, caring for yourself sometimes can be the last thing that you think about because you're so focused on your loved one who is getting the medical care. And for a lot of our guests, they're from rural Pennsylvania, they're from other states. They don't have to navigate the city to find something to eat. They don't have to add it to their list of, I gotta fuel myself today. It's right there in the lobby. As soon as they come downstairs, we have some grab and go options if they are in a rush. But, we hear that it's just, as like a lot of our services, it's lifting a stress, lifting a burden off of their shoulders, off of their mind. And then again, they're in a place where they see they're not alone. And there are all these other families that are going through similar or still different, but similar circumstances.
So for anybody who's listening, hearing about the work you do and thinking, I would love to help in some way, whether that's donating, volunteering, just spreading the word, what is the best way that people can get involved with Family House?
Absolutely. We'll have an online component to giving on Giving Tuesday. If you come to the familyhouse.org page, there'll be a big button to donate. Anything is welcome because, again, we know that $5 makes a difference too, whatever amount people can give. But if you're in a place where it's giving your time or your talent is what you have and maybe not money, you can volunteer. You can email through development@familyhouse.org and we can connect you to our volunteer coordinator. We have house volunteers. We have dinner volunteers. We have volunteers come in and bake during the day. We also take pantry and hygiene item donations. So again, we can do drives and collect things like that. So there's really a lot of different ways to be involved that can really impact the guests who are staying with us.
Sarah, thank you so much for sharing.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
And you can be part of Family House's Day of Giving on December 2nd by visiting familyhouse.org and clicking the donate button. Every donation, big or small, helps provide care, comfort, and community for families who need it most. We will also have that link in the show notes, so you're just a click away.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. One more time, you can find all of these yummy options on our website. That's pittsburgh.citycast.fm. And you can support us, help us keep bringing you roundups like this, telling you what's good in the Burgh by becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. All the details for that are at membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow with more from around the city. We'll talk to you soon. Why do I keep having to talk about Velveeta? I feel like that keeps coming up. Am I doing this to myself?
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with like funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.